We go.
Okay.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode with the Plugs. Chris here today, and one of your favorite guests, Miss Patricia. She's back. Say hello to the folks.
Hello, guys out there.
Guys and gals.
Guys and
ladies
gals,
and gents,
ladies and gents.
saints and ain'ts.
Ain'ts, yeah. And the saints. Hey.
So we have an exciting topic that we want to talk to you guys about and kind of walk through with you. It is about hidden treasures.
Yes.
Right? Coming from Pat, I'm pretty excited for what she's going to unpack for us. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Psalm 32:8 for those of you that want to track with us. And I'm going to be reading from the King James Version. Okay? So Psalm 32:8 reads, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eye.
Okay. All right. So, God had just given me this off the fly. It's not something that I studied a lot, but what came to me was treasures that are hidden in the earth. And God said He will instruct us. So, for example, when we think about an instructor, whether that be a college instructor, whether that be someone that, maybe you're in a fitness class or just, you're doing something that someone is instructing you.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're doing that, when you have someone that's instructing you, you want to make sure that you have the right person for the goal that you're trying to achieve, right? So I don't want anybody to come and have an instructor that's going to, just give me 50%. I want an instructor that's going to give me 100% of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so what God is saying is He's saying, I will instruct you. I will be your instructor. He's not only saying that He will instruct you, but He's also saying, I'm going to teach you. So first I'm going to give you the instructions, what you need to do, and then I'm going to teach you how to do that. And so He's not only, I think that sometimes we look at God as just, we're asking God things that we want to do and things that we want to accomplish, but we're not waiting for God to instruct us. We're not waiting for Him to teach us from those instructions. We're most likely, and I want you to elaborate on this, Chris, but most of us want to give God the instructions.
Yes.
And
true.
Teach God instead of He giving us the instructions and teaching us. So can you just elaborate on your experience when God is giving you some type of instruction and then He's taught you something with that instruction that He gave you?
Ooh, where to begin?
Maybe moving here or
moving here and even digging a little deeper, because like to go beyond surface level stuff and talk about moving here, even just with my own heart and my relationship with my family and things like that. I received an instruction, and I think one thing that's important for folks listening to know is when we're talking about God instructions, it's not always a to-do list. It's not always a go right, go left. Sometimes an instruction from the Lord is Him reshaping and molding, or sometimes in some ways breaking your heart because He's trying to get rid of all that stony, gunky mess. And so for me, one thing, like I said, beyond surface level was the instruction to forgive and get rid of a lot of anger that I had pent up in my heart that I didn't realize. And it affected my relationships. It affected the way that I thought. It affected a lot of areas in my life that I didn't realize. And what the Lord began to do over time was show me, because, I moved away from my family and I thought, okay, fresh start,
Right.
But in reality, what he did was he took me away from my family and isolated me. And I got to a point, well, man, I'm all alone. And he's like, you did it to yourself.
Right.
He's like, so now are you going to listen?
Yes.
Right. And what he began to do was show me the many ways that I was bottling up the anger, that I was holding on to the hatred, the people that I hadn't forgiven.
Yes.
And so over time, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't a laundry list of do this, then do that, then do this. It was just me spending more time with him, me being in the Word, and learning over time how to forgive people in the ways that I didn't know how. He showed me how. And it got to a point where I knew I had to forgive my father, because my father wasn't in my life.
Yes.
I haven't seen my father since I was 6 years old. And there was a lot of hatred and unforgiveness towards my father that affected all of my life. I won't say some.
Exactly.
And what the Lord did was, to the point that I in my human flesh could forgive, I did. It wasn't 100% forgiveness.
Yes.
And so my prayer changed from, Lord, help me forgive him. Say, Lord, what I can't forgive, you forgive. And that prayer is what transformed
Yes.
that area of my life. Because over time, it wasn't overnight, it wasn't instantaneous. The hatred, it started to just dissolve. Like I said, that stony part of my heart, it just melted away. I can say openly, I love my father.
Yes. Yes.
I can say that, and I couldn't say that years ago.
Yes.
So to be able to say that, that's a big deal, and to mean it, and to even on Father's Day, to pray for my father.
Yes.
And to pray, if he doesn't know the Lord, that he finds the Lord. To pray that he's doing well, to pray for his health, to pray for his strength, to pray for all these things, when before in my heart it's like, I hate him.
Right.
Just wishing the worst for him. So it's a long example, but I think that is a very valid, because I know there's other people that struggle with this, or that are still struggling with it, or maybe you're somebody that's overcome. Please share your experience with other people. But that's one of the ways that I would say the Lord has instructed me over time, and it was a series of instructions and teaching, just like we read in the verse.
Exactly.
It was a instruction, and it was also a teaching. He taught me how to forgive. He didn't just say, you need to forgive that person.
Exactly.
He's like, you need to forgive that person. And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, okay, I'll show you.
Exactly.
So
I'll teach you.
yeah.
And we don't have a choice of who our parents are.
Yeah.
Though our parents are ordained by God, our family has been ordained by God. Most of us would not even choose the family that we're in, if we be honest. But God, in his sovereignty, chose our parents. He knew us before we were formed. So he knew that you will be the parents of so-and-so down through the generations. But you listened. And then he said, continue to read about him guiding you.
Yeah. So Psalm 32:8, I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. And then it says, I will guide thee with mine eye.
So he guided you here to Jacksonville. He brought you here. And then he gave you instructions, and then he taught you. And so he freed you. And this was the place he had you to come to be free from all of the hang-ups and anger and, unforgiveness. Because unforgiveness, the Bible said, it rots the bones.
Yes.
And so it flows into every area of your life. You can't really get it together if you have unforgiveness.